Okay, January 26th, which will be Tuesday, watch list video. I'm just going to show you the SPY real quick here. I just put this line right here on the chart today because we've got great support down at that 181 area. And what oftentimes happens, go back and you can see it, right? What oftentimes happens is after you get a bounce, the stock goes into a range. So I drew this line because this right now we're in a range from basically 181 to almost 191, right? And we had a nice reversal today to the downside. So that's to me is the most recently defined range, and so I want to keep an eye on that range for a while. All right, certainly looks like hey, we're headed back down, but as you've seen, anything can happen. Gaps up, gaps down. It's a volatile market, and actually today was quite boring because, and a couple people in chat pointed out, hey, FOMC today, or not today, this week. So the meeting starts tomorrow, and then they have the interest rate announcement or whatever you want to call it on Wednesday, probably 2 o'clock, I think. So a lot of times the market just goes on hold as everyone holds their breath and to see what the Feds are going to say, okay, about the economy and so on. So then you'll get chaos Wednesday afternoon, and leading up until that, leading up to that, it's probably going to be fairly boring. But let's go into my watch list for tomorrow. As you guys know, I'm a day trader, and so I try to look at daily charts to find stocks that might give me some nice trades tomorrow. I'm in cash every night, so that's what I spend all of my energy doing, looking for setups for tomorrow, okay? With that in mind, you had a really nice move here in TROV from a low on January 20th of 286 all the way to almost $6 in 2 sessions. And now you've got a 2-day pullback on declining volume. It's at 426. It's at the 8-day, and it just pierced the 20-day. So if it's going to bounce, I'd like to see it bounce around here. So it goes on bounce watch tomorrow. That's TROV. ZFGN's kind of similar, really nice move, and then now you're 3 days lower on much lower volume, so want to look for a turn back up in this one tomorrow. SNDK, pretty big sell-off today. It had a nice bounce near the end of the day, but I wish I'd have seen this, maybe grabbed it below 60. A lot of times you get below a whole number when you're already extended on an intraday basis, you can get a nice bounce, especially if that whole number is divisible by 10. The psychology involved, and you can see here when it got below 60, here it actually got down to 59.35, and look at that nice bounce at the end of the day, all the way up to almost 63 before settling at 61.75. So let's keep our eyes on that one for a continuation of that afternoon bounce. Certainly seems ahead of itself to the downside. In about a week, it's fallen from 75 down to below 60 at one point today. So that one's on bounce watch. A couple banks on watch. STI, or financial stocks, I should say. STI is almost straight down here. And 3 days down, getting last 2 days really big volume. And if you look back, last October, well, I guess that would be 2 Octobers ago, whatever that's called, had a really nice bounce off the $34 area, and it's just straight down to that area, big volume. So it's a pretty good stock to watch for a potential bounce in this area around 34, and that is STI, MTG, getting fast to the downside. I don't know if there's any clear-cut support in this area. Back here, but when you have to go back this far, I don't get in love with the support, but it is, if these were 5-minute candles, I would certainly be looking for a reversal pretty soon because they're starting to get long and big volume. So generally, what we do on something like this, then we go to an intraday, maybe see if we can get a low risk 15-minute setup or something like that, right? And that'll have to be with the market too. CREE, CREE. Putting in a nice red daily candle today. I talked about this last week. It's at the top of a range, and it's gotten there in a hurry. And so if the market continues selling tomorrow, I think CREE is a good possibility for a short, all right, because you had a very toppy-looking candle. It came from the lows of its range, the highs of its range in a couple days. So this has some downside, in my opinion, for a possible short. OPTT, I always like to have some of the lower-priced stocks on watch, lower float. OPTT had nice volume about a week ago, and then today was fairly strong again on a week tape. So had a nice pop early and then just sideways. So if this gets up in the high 180s it might retake today's high, and especially if the market's with us, and maybe make a run towards the high that pop what would like 4 sessions ago. Okay, so OPTT is interesting. FSNN, nice little break out of about a week's worth of trading to the upside and a little volume spike. So just looking for that one to continue higher. AEZS. Now this doesn't look like much. I'll have to zoom in so you can see it. AEZS I actually called today in chat. It looked about like this. I said over 325. It was giving a 2-minute buy setup, but it happened so quick. I just called it over 325. Low of day stop, and you can see what happened. This was probably one of the biggest percentage movers of the day. And our entry was pretty much right about here. And ended up, also called it over this flag later for those that weren't still in it, right about here. So a couple trades in this one today. Went all the way to 370, so from 325 to 370, pretty nice percentage move. Going to 60-minute candles here, you had this big volume spike here, took it up to 380, and now we're kind of flagging right below that. This is a low float stock and can really move at times. You can see back here it went from whatever that was, close to $3 to almost 16, and it's coming out of some decent support today. Looking for a break of today's high over 370. Might just take us right through that 381 high, and it wouldn't surprise me to see a move to 4.5 or something. This one can really move at times. So my first catalyst would be a break of today's high over 370. As I'm babbling, I'm going to go ahead and put that in my notes. 371. That's my first catalyst. Also, I'd like to know that 382 is the next one. So I'm going to write that down too. 382. So. And then if you get over 382, anything can happen. So this one's worth a look tomorrow. And then RLYP is my final one. There's not that much to look at here, but after hours, this got a nice pop, and it's sitting at 23 bucks right now. So that's let's see, that's right about here. So we're gonna treat that as a gap play tomorrow. I have no idea how it's gonna open. I assume it's gonna gap up. Obviously, it had good news after hours, so we're gonna play that one as a gap play tomorrow. Hopefully, it sets up nicely for us, and hopefully find some other nice gappers in the morning as well. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. Enjoy your night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.